The topic of this presentation is planning constraints. And by the end of this presentation, you should be able to use the Excel spreadsheet to plan constraints and therefore maximizing an organization's growth. And in order to attain this intended then outcome, we need to do an exercise by using an Excel sheet. Then let's go to the Excel sheet. In order to do this exercise, we need first to understand the given data. And after that, we need to develop this table and then discuss the concept of constraints and how to plan them. Then, we have an organization that produces two types of products. And the maximum demand for product A is 450, and the maximum demand for product B 450 as well. Each unit of A would generate a profit of £35, or contribution if you like. And each unit of product B would generate a profit or contribution of £50. In order to produce 1 unit of A, we need 2 hours of direct labor and we need 4 units of direct materials. And in order to produce 1 unit of product B, we need 3 hours of direct labor and 2 units of direct materials. In the case that there is nothing to prevent the company to produce the maximum demand, then the company would produce 450 units of product A and 450 units of product B in order to maximize its contribution. Now we need to calculate the contribution of A and the contribution of B and then the total contribution. To do so, we start with A, press equal, 450 multiplied by the contribution of per unit. And go to the P, 450, and multiply it by the contribution generated by each 1 unit of B. And then, in order to calculate the total contribution, add the figures together. Okay, now we need to calculate our demand for the direct labor and for the direct materials. In order to do so, we'll start with product A. We need to produce 450 and each unit would require 2 hours of direct labor. Do the same thing with B. We need to produce 450 and each unit will require 3 hours of direct labor. And this will give us a total of 900 plus 1,350. And we'll do the same thing regarding direct materials. Then for A, we need to produce 450 and each unit would require 4 units of direct labor. And for P equal, we need to produce 450 and each unit will require 2 units of direct materials. This will give us a total of, add them together, 2,700. Then the story here is that where there is no constraint that prevents the company to produce the maximum demand, the company would produce 450 of A and 450 of B and would achieve a maximum profit of 38,250. And this would require the company to use 2,250 hours of direct labor and 2,700 units of direct materials. But here, if I take this one up, what you can see here, you can see what we have from the resources. And this, what we have, is less than what we need in order to produce this product mix. And this leaves a shortfall in our resources of 900 hours of direct labor and 1,200 units of direct materials. My question here is that, can we consider the direct labor and direct materials as constraints? Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no is an easy question, but I have more intelligent question. Why yes? totally right. Because what we have will prevent us or will limit our ability to produce the targeted product mix, and therefore preventing us from attaining the maximum contribution. Now, our question is that how many units of product A and the product B the company needs to produce in order to attain the maximum contribution that can be achieved under these constraints? We'll give a manual try. We'll try with 250 for A and, for example, 350 of B. My question here, can we produce this product mix? Just concentrate on the variance or the variation. Yes or no? No. Why? Because what we have is less than what we need in order to produce this product mix. Give it another try. 200 and 300. What about now? Can we produce this product mix or no? Concentrate here. Yes. However, the question here, is this product mix optimum in terms of maximizing profit? Of course no, because we still have more units that if we used, we can produce more units of A or B or both, and therefore generate more profit. Then, in this case, we need to seek the help of Excel in order to answer this question. But before doing so, I will show you another two constraints: the maximum and the minimum constraints. As you can see, the company or the maximum demand for product A and product B, 450 and 450. Therefore, the company will not produce more than these amounts. And logically, the company will not produce minus number of A or B. Cannot produce, for example, minus 5 units. Therefore, we need to consider these as constraints. Now, we are ready to use the Excel spreadsheet in order to answer our question. In order to do so, go to the data, go to the solver, and you can see here set objective. And obviously, our objective is to maximize our profit. Then you need to click this cell and click this button. By what? By identifying the optimum product mix. Then select these two cells. Under the given constraints, and we have constraints here, we need to add our constraints. The first constraint is that the amount that we need to produce from A should always be less than or equal the maximum. Add it. And the amount that we need to produce from A should always be more than or equal the minimum. Click the minimum. We'll do the same thing with the product B. There. Click 300. The cell should always be less than or equal the maximum. And this should always be more than or equal the minimum. We finished now with the minimum and maximum constraints. We need to go to our resources constraints. The amount that we need from the direct materials, or the amount that we need to use from the direct material, should always be less than or equal what we have. And the amount that we need to use of the direct materials should always be less than or equal what we have. We finished with the constraints now. Click OK. And in order to get the answer, click Solve. And you can see here, Solver identified the optimum product mix. We need to produce 225 units of A and 300 units of B. And this will allow us to use our resources, available resources, and achieve the maximum contribution considering our constraints. This is the end of the presentation. And if you have any question, please discuss it with your neighbor and then ask me if you want.